Yes.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. We are doing Comfort Zone, Mental Health and Marginalized Communities. Um, love that for us. Um, we again have to make sure that we're out by 3:51 at the earliest.
3:51 at the earliest. Understood. All right. Eden, your turn.
Huh?
Eden, your turn.
Hi, we're doing mic check and we're talking about mental health in marginalized communities and how it's bad because late stage capitalism and it's mostly not your fault, but therapy can help by giving you coping strategies and how to deal with it.
Talk into the
But
microphone.
as a large scale thing, it's kind of like just bad all around. Everybody's suffering and poverty and
Emo Girl
exploitation.
is playing before we go on air to talk about mental health and marginalized communities.
What's playing?
Emo Girl.
Oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. Emo girl
That is
is
really
a
funny.
marginalized community. People don't talk about emo girl representation enough.
Okay. Jordan, talk again.
Um, I think it's really funny that Emo Girl is playing like
All right. Cool.
before.
Eden, talk again.
I'm talking. I can keep talking and talk into the
All right.
mic
Cool.
and talk around.
Hello, friends. It is me, myself, and I. Not in that order.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to Comfort Zone Campers.
Hi.
I am your I'm your head
Hi, everybody.
I'm
Strong
your head
start.
counselor, Jordan, and obviously Eden has made
Hi, I'm the
it.
co-host Eden. I was too excited.
Hi, I'm Ren. I push the buttons.
And um first before we get into today, um how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. It's
I'm
kind of hot.
sleepy.
Sleepy. Big
Sleepy?
Big
sleepy.
sleep.
Big
Big
sleep.
sleep.
I'm good. I'm good. Um I'm definitely excited about today's episode because this topic is very important to me, and I'm sure it's also important to a lot of other people, which I guess I'm going to preface this by saying that today is a bit of a, I want to say a little bit of a heavier episode
Yeah,
because
pretty
we're talking
serious.
about a pretty um, serious topic.
We're talking about mental health in marginalized communities. We're talking about people who are left and forgotten by the system being sad and then that same system not holding them up.
Yeah,
It's quite serious.
we're talking a lot about that. And if you're a person of color, someone obviously who grew up in marginalized communities, then you might be one of those people who were told that your mental health wasn't important or like unsure. It's a joke a lot of the time how
Mm.
like villainized almost that mental health is like, oh, you're depressed, go depress those dishes. Like it's a joke like that. It is It's a bit of a funny joke, but it is a joke nonetheless that isn't funny in the grand scheme of things. Because prefacing this by saying there is no age where you get depression. Like you can't just not it's not like you wake up at 16 and all of a sudden that's the age you can have depression. It's
Right.
not like you wake up at 17 and 18. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to experience burnout until you're a college student, or you're not supposed to be stressed or have anxiety until you're in the workforce, when in reality it is heartbreaking the suicide rates of young children, especially from as young as like 8 or 7. It's depression, especially severe depression, isn't something that you just grow into, so to speak. It's something that can
It definitely
pop up at
doesn't
anxiety.
wait around to be convenient, that's for sure.
It definitely doesn't. It's something that you just get. And these children are also failed by, unfortunately, the people around them for not believing them when they say this is happening and demonizing it to some extent.
Yeah, and children of marginalized communities are often, because they exist in a society that isn't already equipped with recognizing people as people. Just because they look different, they are treated different by proxy. So we see this case a lot with young black boys who are neurodivergent in any way, who are some autistic or ADHD, somewhere on the spectrum, who display emotional outbursts in the form of frustration, hyperactivity, and they very, very quickly get cast into a role of problem child. And we see this in our education of people who really just need help and need support and need to feel heard by their primary adult, being kind of shoved into a corner and told that they need to act better, basically.
Exactly. That is definitely another big thing when it comes to mental health in marginalized communities. It's that notion that that boys will be boys notion, that men don't cry, boys don't cry. It puts like such a heavy weight on, like, why would we be telling a 3-year-old to toughen up? I think a lot of people forget that kids, this is their first time experiencing any of this.
Right.
These big emotions, sadness, anger, regret, shame. This is their first time. And when they come to their parent, this parental figure that they should be getting this, like, validation in some way, shape, or form from, and instead they're getting pushback of,
Oh, yeah.
boys don't cry.
I mean, absolutely, because those parents and the people who are supposed to be the role models for young children, if they're growing up in marginalized communities, they already have stigma from all that they've suffered by being in that position. I know that in Hispanic and Latino households, if you go to like first generation and second generation immigrants who experience all the traumas that come with immigrating to a country, share this belief that if you go see a therapist, you're crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't handle yourself enough to, like, you can't handle yourself enough. You have to go talk to some random person about your issues. Like, it was very,
Like, you
very
can't tough it out.
exactly.
And I think that also comes very much from the whole model minority myth, that we try to, especially when it comes to people of color, people in marginalized communities, we try to push ourselves and fit ourselves into a box, so to speak, so that we could, like, hey, we're one of the good ones. We're not the people you see on the news.
There's so much expectation that's put on an model minority to sort of change the whole impression that people have of that minority majority as a whole.
Yeah, because black representation in media, it was either you're a gangster, you're a thug, or you're the model minority type. You're the best friend. You're the student council president. You have the perfect grades. You're probably going to get into Yale.
Yeah, there's people who try to portray like black excellence as something that I've seen of trying to create like a high standard for yourself that somehow would change other people's like opinion of the rest of black people, when really the fact that that negative opinion is there in the first place creates so many more issues. Like the minority stress of being subject to institutional like harm and exploitation and poverty that puts people at a disadvantageous position to even feel safe enough to talk about their mental health. It quite literally like prevents recovery from all of the trauma that keeps happening to people.
Exactly. Um, that was a lot. Like less than 10 minutes. Um, that was definitely
It's
a
a heavy
lot.
up. We're talking about
It's a
serious.
heavy up. So we're gonna try and take a small breather from such a heavy topic, and we're gonna go into something a little bit easier, like happy hour.
Now it's time for the good stuff. It's happy hour. What are you grateful for?
So, I know we just sat here and talked a lot about like the bad parts of that can affect you growing up in marginalized communities and in your mental health. But like in communities that you grew up in, what are some like great memories you have of the communities that you grew up in?
Yeah, or like a pride that you feel from your community where you felt really connected to them. I know that in Hispanic and Black communities, most people of like older adults from like the 90s and the 80s and whatnot who are growing up are way more likely to talk to like a clergy member or a pastor. And like when I was growing up, I felt really held in my church. Like I remember growing up and having a community in all of the people around me who cared about me, even if I didn't feel comfortable at home, you know? And so it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I think a lot of happiness can be drawn from finding a source outside of yourself to get power from. Like a lot of people turn to God and everything. And like I'm not particularly religious, but I still remember the feeling of community, you know?
Yeah, Ren, I know you kind of haven't had the chance to speak. Do you?
You guys have been doing great.
I
I don't
know.
need to say anything. You guys are saying everything for me.
I mean, that's another good point too, because like if you're an ally who's hearing about things that other people have to suffer from, the best thing that you can do is listen and show support through just raising up communities of people that do have something to say, you
That
know?
is sometimes the best way to be an ally to a community is when you know you don't know any better about a topic and that you can't speak on it, then don't.
Right.
Because that's usually how we end up with people who speak on topics that they don't understand or are not or haven't lived through the experience to be able to understand it, and then that portrays bad on the ally community to
Mhm.
that group because it's like you're almost taking up for like something like almost something I see a lot, which I think is really weird, is when a YouTuber gets canceled or like when someone gets canceled,
Right.
and it's
Every
especially
Tuesday
for
when somebody
something
gets canceled.
racist.
Oh gosh.
And you always have, and it's always the people who that slur was not directed towards in the comments being like, "We forgive you, Queen. We forgive." Who's we?
Who's we? Wait a minute.
I
Wait a minute.
don't forgive you.
No. I mean, the best thing that you could do is just raise Black voices and like support creators who are making beautiful things and, you know, platform them. Like one of our songs on our playlist today is from Sinners, an excellent movie that won an Oscar, a couple Oscars, I believe.
When it was such, and you want to know what? Even though we're in happy hour, I want to bring this up because I know my mom's watching. Me and my mom talked about the fact that somebody made a post saying that if Sinners was a Hi, Mom.
Shameless mom plug.
We were talking about a post where someone said if Sinners was about Black struggle, if Sinners was like the Smokestack Twins were slaves instead, if Sinners would probably win more awards. And it was that
That's so interesting.
it's that idea of a lot of the most popular films in Black media, Precious, even Medea to some extent, which is a caricature and a
Which is a
as
whole other
funny as
conversation.
as funny as Medea is, she has caused a lot of harm to the Black community in different types of ways. But Medea, a lot of Black films are about Black struggle and not Black excellence. And Sinners being so successful, I think I agree with that post that it probably would have been more successful if it was a black struggle film, because we as a society, and specifically Americans,
It's
have a
perpetuating,
savior
yeah.
complex.
Yes, it's perpetuating a narrative from white audiences who associate black people with struggle instead of excellence. Yes, white
Ren?
audience.
White audience here. Have you guys ever seen The Blind Side?
Oh
I
my
have.
god.
Oh, boy, have I.
I think that's a great example of like the white savior complex, right?
It definitely
Mhm.
is.
Where it highlights black struggles, right? But it also like paints a picture of, oh, it's our job to come in and save them. No.
No.
That's like, we should stand with them, right? And help them, but why would we paint a caricature of ourselves when we put them in that place?
That's
Exactly.
so interesting because the savior part. Sorry to cut you off, but the savior part of it is like there is an action to be done, but they're never doing that action. Like you've talked about like charities and organizations that are set up to help marginalized communities. They're never doing things that actually tackle the social injustice of it. Because if you are a white ally who watched what's the movie called again?
The Blind
The
Side.
Blind Side. Okay, who watched The Blind Side, and was like, wow, that really sucks that he had to go through all of that. But I'm so glad that he's a famous football player now. Like, wouldn't you then
And he
be
got
like,
adopted by this white family. And
Yeah.
The white family did everything for him. It's like it's movies like this that lead to the whole I'm not racist, I have black friends.
right? Like, if you really cared, you would vote for things that protect those people. You would make it an active part of your life to protect those communities from your place of privilege.
Like it's not something you slap on a t-shirt, and it's not like blacking out your profile picture during the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not putting BLM in your bio. It's going to protest. It's voting. It's being an active support because I'm looking at you. All the influencers who, as soon as they were out of the clear, changed their profiles and their statuses back and never talked about it again. I'm looking at you because that was performative, and that's performative activism. And that
Yeah.
also damages POC communities.
But we love POC communities, and this is about celebration. This is happy hour. We're being like, people are doing great things, and we love that for them.
People are doing great things. And you want to know what else is great? This music we have coming up.
Ooh.
Oh, we have music coming up?
We
Oh,
do have
boy.
music coming up.
Out of curiosity, I've never seen Sinners. I've heard really good things. I'm going to get around to
What?
watching
You're
it.
literally
I
like a
promise.
film person.
I-
What?
We're gonna go Ren through the coals
They're going to drag me through the mud.
while you listen to this awesome.
Which is the Sinner song?
Oh. Stay something?
No.
Stay.
Last
Alright.
time.
Last time.
All right. Thank
last
you.
time.
Now I know which one I'm going to play.
Thank you. And welcome back, campers.
We have a new guest.
We have a new guest, our social media manager, Lacey.
Hi guys. Y'all never seen me before. This will probably be the last time y'all see me.
If you've watched Afternoon Growl last
Yeah.
semester, you've
Or
definitely
watch College Circuit
or
the other
watch-
week.
or watch College Circuit, you've seen Lacey a couple of times.
I see her around all the time.
She
What are you
lives
talking
here.
about?
She mainly lives
In the building.
She lives in the
she's
building.
mainly behind the scenes,
But she's
with us
also a
'cause she's our
yes.
social media manager, but she's also a criminology major, which definitely plays into our next topic, which, Eden, if you'd like to take it away.
I want to talk about why people are scared to reach out and ask for help, because there's a lot of stigma around it. But 38.6% of Latinos reported feeling afraid, embarrassed, or ashamed of seeking mental health treatment. And only 13% of non-Latino whites feel that same sentiment. And I think that there's something that we're missing about why people are so scared to reach out for help.
I don't think it's something that we're missing. I think it's something that people blatantly ignore because, like, it's a known fact that cops aren't taught how to handle mental health crises, especially in people of color.
Yes.
Which is why it usually always ends with someone dead or in prison.
Yeah, if you reach out for a crisis situation to the police and you are a minority, you are like 2 times more likely to be killed as a result of that, because they see you as violent and they don't understand that there's a mental health crisis happening, and they'll take drastic measures before giving that person a chance to be hospitalized or seek help.
I can, Lacey can probably provide more insight onto what I'm about to say, but another thing is that that also contributes to what we were talking about the stigma on mental health in Black communities, especially with being the model minority. You want to prove that you're one of the good ones so that you don't end up getting killed. You want to, you keep your hands on the steering wheel. You don't walk with a hoodie on. You don't walk with headphones on. You keep
You greet them with a smile.
You greet them with a smile. You say, yes, sir, no, sir. You're polite. You're as polite as you need to be. And
You
as
mind
you
your P's
can
and
be.
Q's.
You mind your P's and Q's. Because if you're not, if you are off that day, you could end up either in prison or worse on the news that night. And that's another reason why I think, especially in marginalized communities, it is so drilled in our heads to be perfect, happier, more compliant with a lot of things, to respect your elders, to do a lot of stuff. While it is good to know, like, of course, if an officer pulls you over, be as respectful as you can be. But it's not just respect, and it's not just professionalism. It's a matter of life or death.
No, literally.
Yeah,
When
it's
you're
not a sorry to cut you
You're
off,
great.
but it's like it's not a manners thing. It's more of it's a survival thing. It's like, am I going to die today if I move too quickly, or what? Is it going to be
Like,
a problem?
can I
or is
get
it,
my registration out of my glove compartment? Like, there's nothing there. Like, can I get my registration? Can I show you my driver's license? Are
One
you going to freak
thing-
out on me?
One thing I've seen in like clips and whatnot is people like narrating their movements in a traffic stop, right? They'll be like, I'm reaching for my wallet. Like, is that something that like actually needs to be done? Is that a like large concern?
Unfortunately.
I would say yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Because the amount of people, I just saw a body cam footage video of, I don't know when it was taken, but I just saw, it was like 2 teenagers were eating in their car, and they went to pull off, right? And the officer, like, basically fired 10 shots at them. They were eating in their car. They were teenagers eating in their car. They were doing nothing but eating in their car. And even if there was something, and I think a lot of people seem to forget this, if there was something in that car, if they were doing something illegal, or they did something illegal and now they're just sitting in the car or something like that, that matter is irrelevant. There's no reason to fire 10 shots.
No, exactly.
None.
It quite literally jumps over the due process of what you're supposed to do when you're a police officer. Like, if you see anybody in the car, you have to walk over. Hi, how you doing tonight? What's going on? You investigate. You give them the benefit of the doubt, and there is no benefit of the doubt when 72% of police involvement with Black people results in death. Like,
Yeah, it's something, like I was stating before, it's a reason why so many people. It's like I feel like, and I'm not. I know my mom is watching, my family is watching, so correct me if I'm wrong, and if text me if I'm wrong. But one of the I feel like teaching your child how to drive and getting them a license has to be one of the scariest things a parent of color can do, because at that point, whatever happens to your kid, if they get pulled over, if they're walking, if they park the car and they're going into the gas station, at that point, it's like, and it's disheartening, because Sweet 16's getting a car. It's so exciting.
It's supposed to be one of like the
The
best,
best
moments
things,
like of
but to
their
a
life. They get their
parent of
freedom.
color, it's also disheartening, and it's so bittersweet, because yay, your kid can drive, and they're growing up and they're maturing, but at the same time, it's like, are they gonna get pulled over one day? Is a cop gonna be in a bad mood one day?
It's
And
kind of sorry to cut you off, but it's kind of like be like, did I just make like the worst mistake I could in my parenting? Like, did I
Yeah.
just set them up for failure?
did I just accidentally give my child a death sentence
Right.
by letting them drive, and I'm not driving with them, and I'm not there actively with them? It's so disheartening, and I feel like so many big moments are ruined due to racism and not being able to be with your kid, because people, we have learned to fear more things as we got older and as time has progressed, but that amount of fear has tripled in people of color. That, because now, because I've never seen such, I will never forget this, and my little brother's probably not listening to this, but I will never forget this when, because I probably, you know how everyone says we all have those, do you remember where you were when X, Y, and Z happened? I remember exactly where I was when the news, the live news of George Floyd's death was broadcasted to America. I remember where I was, and I remember seeing my little brother cry for the first time because he didn't understand why that happened. I remember that, and that's something that I have to live with, and it's something that so many people have to live with, and because of that, and then people wonder why mental health in marginalized communities is so bad.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's, if you're looking for people that you can trust and you already feel like you can't trust your systems that are supposed to protect you. Like, theoretically, the police are supposed to protect you, and they really, really don't. And you're watching things on the news about people being murdered, you feel unsafe. And then when that trickles down into your interpersonal families, where you have generations of people who don't know how to talk about their feelings because they've simply had to cope with all of the trauma that keeps happening to them. Like, exactly. You know, thankfully we have so many resources and connection to mental health at our fingertips literally today. Like, you know,
We do.
people say that like everyone is soft nowadays, or I didn't have depression when I was growing up. Well, you did. You just didn't have any way to talk about it or any way to name it, or people validating that experience. So now, thankfully, younger generations are able to open up the discussion and heal what has happened to them, and then heal the next generation of people.
I wanna definitely talk more about resources that especially are available around campus as we start to wind down a little bit more. So let's take a step back, relax a little bit, and take a seat by the campfire.
Push the button.
Push the button.
Oh yeah,
The
you had to push
button.
the button.
Let's take a moment to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with ourselves. So let's settle in and get comfortable by the campfire. So, it has definitely been a lot. It is that we got really deep into racism, and all that stuff is very important. And I definitely want to talk about the resources that we do have on campus, because we are in partnership with the counseling center. And I don't want this to seem like an ad in any means, because it's not. The counseling center is so beneficial And especially in the times that we live in, the with ice breathing down our necks, with stuff like that, especially in the context of our political climate and the American climate, you definitely need a therapist. That is something that is breathing down your neck, like it is for a lot of people. A therapist, a counselor, a friend, um,
Someone that you can lean on, because
someone that you can
we
lean on.
can't change the world the way that it is, but we can change
Or at
ourselves.
least not right now.
Not right now. We're working on it.
Definitely.
Uh,
Yeah.
but we can change ourselves, and we have people in our community that we know and we care about, and the single best thing that you can do is help those individuals around you by being a friend, by calling people, by going to counseling to make sure that you're good so that you can take care of the person next to you.
Exactly. You can't. They say it all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't talk to your friend. You can't go to protest if you're not even sound enough to go. You can't ingest the content that you need about the world that you're living in if you don't even have the capacity to get out of bed in the morning. You can't do that if you don't take care of yourself. You need to tend to your own fire before you go help somebody else build theirs. And there's no shame in that. That's why we have the counseling center and the health center at on campus. The counseling center is entirely free. It's confidential. So if that's something that you're also worried about, your parents can't call up and ask your therapist what they're talking about. They don't have any access to it at all. Your counselors are very discreet about who they see. Like, I only know me and Eden see the same counselor because we talk to each other about it. But if I went and asked our counselor if they saw Eden, he'd tell me no.
Yeah. And I know that most counselors share this sentiment of like they understand what people are up against. They understand how disheartening the system can be in late stage capitalism, but the thing that you can do is relieve yourself of the burden, because most people who are experiencing mental health are a product of their environment. Like, this does not exist out of a vacuum. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken because you have a mental illness. It's quite literally the opposite of you having a perfectly normal response to insane situations.
Insane stimuli.
Oh, I would also like to say that if you do not go during the day and you have a problem in the middle of the night, they do have a 24/7 hotline that you can call. I would recommend.
There is no shame in seeking mental health. I've mentioned this before, and I am mentioning it again. If you have a mental, you need mental health. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with needing another break. There's nothing not needing another break to listen to some awesome music.
Yeah, music.
Ren, please.
Red.
Okay.
welcome back, campers. I know that we've been talking about a lot this this episode. We've been talking about a lot.
We had to run Jordan down to get back.
Jordan actually ran across campus and came back.
I'm really impressed. I don't know how you got back so fast.
Eden, is there any more fun facts you'd like to share? Well, not fun facts, but facts you'd like to share with us.
Oh, goodness. Not really, but I do want to say that for those of you that are listening that like have this reality, please know that your feelings are valid, you know, and that your health matters, and that you deserve spaces where you can show up fully without shrinking. Because it feels really, really isolating when you exist in a space where you're struggling and you don't have anybody to turn to. But we're here to hopefully give you some information that makes you feel not alone, and give you resources to talk to people, and know that there are a lot of other people who are struggling with the very same thing. And you're all in this together.
Exactly.
We're all in this together.
That's another thing we mentioned earlier, the church in POC communities. I know that especially because I know a lot of people of color, especially black people of color, grew up in the church. That community founded through centuries of discrimination, racism, and prejudice. The church was kind of the only place for black people to turn to, but it can also be a double-edged sword because it's not the most welcoming of places sometimes. It's not, and that's also where a big, if you're depressed, just like pray it away. I think that if you are religious and that if it does help you, I think prayer can help, but prayer can't be the only thing that you do. You need to make an active effort to seek that help, because so inclined the way I see it. The way I see it is God put those resources on the planet for you. If he did not want you to, if he wanted you to just like pray this thing away, he wouldn't make therapists, psychologists.
For second generation and third generation people of immigrants, your families came here because they wanted a better life for you, and they probably didn't realize that it was because, like, I know that my great grandmother came here from Puerto Rico, so I'm very far removed from it, but like, they came here for a better life for you, and part of that is learning to take care of yourself. Part of that is learning to heal the generational trauma that you hold from having to deal with stuff for so long. Like, there's nothing, you shouldn't feel guilty about acknowledging the things that are wrong with you and then seeking help. Like, if you can't save them, especially, just save yourself.
Exactly. You can't save someone who's drowning because they'll just drag you down with them. So if what you need to do for your sake is to get that life raft and make sure yourself is stable first, and that's probably something that you'll have to do. It's not something to be ashamed of in any way, shape, or form. It's not something to be, we said it before, it's why we're partnering, it's why this show even exists in the first place. These things aren't shameful. And by making them shameful, it just furthers those suicide rates, those depression rates, those anxiety rates, especially in marginalized communities, because if your own community won't listen to you, then who will?
Yeah, there's actually, when I was doing research for a different episode that we didn't end up doing, I found out that the Angela Davis, one of the members of the Black Panther Party, sort of founded self-care and mental health, like not mental health as a whole, but like she would do yoga. And when you were doing protests and you would be in prison, there wasn't any room for you to like move around and do a whole lot of activity. So she regularly practiced like a movement meditation that would keep her grounded and mentally sane while under duress. So like, I know that we have like pop self-care that happens now of people being like, oh my God, I did a face mask, I'm so good. Like there's that definitely exists as like a product of things that capitalism tries to sell to you. But also like taking care of yourself is like the single most radical thing that you can do.
And I want to say something about the whole like pop self-care stuff. I think that what also shames a lot of people away from mental health is because now it's trendy. Like,
Yeah.
everybody has, like I said, if you have a mental, you have mental health. Everybody to some degree has trauma, depression, anxiety. That's just not something I think we as humans can live without. But it comes to a point when everyone is using therapy terms and therapy speak, and that could definitely be, in some way, shape, or form, damaging and scary when it comes to that.
Also, don't feel bad if your mental health does not look like other people's mental health. There
Mhm.
is no real timeline. There is no real set standard of what it should look like.
Oh my God, somebody that bed rots all day and somebody that works 3 jobs in the same day can both be depressed. They just look different.
It just looks different. And that's really the main takeaway. That's the name of the episode, Beyond One Experience. Everybody goes through mental health, everybody goes through crises. It just doesn't look, just because it doesn't look the same to you, doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Thank you guys so much for joining us by the campfire today. This has been definitely a very heavy, but I feel like informative episode, and I hope to all our listeners that you take something away. Please do, like I say, especially in the political climate that we are living in. If you need to visit a counselor, our counseling center is open until 5 p.m.
They have that
and we have the
hotline, right? Yeah.
we have the hotline. So please just look them up, seek the assistance if you need it. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you guys have a great day.
And shout out to Willie. Thank
Shout
you,
out to
Willie.
Willie.
Shout out to Willie,
Yay.
who stopped me from having an anxiety attack like 10 minutes ago.
I just want to remind everybody you are exactly where you need to be.
Exactly. Have a good day.